D. Brighter Sr., and I'm the pastor and founder of Temple of Praise here in Bartlett, Tennessee. I'm excited that you've joined us virtually, and I'd also like to invite you to join us personally here at the top at your earliest convenience. We have our Sunday morning worship every Sunday at 11 a.m. We also have children's church available for our children ages 11 and under. And then on Wednesday night, we have our prayer and Bible study. And we have youth classes available that night as well. So come out and bring the whole family. Let's enjoy Jesus together. In the meantime, I pray something is said in this broadcast that will bless your life and that will encourage you until we meet again. God bless you, and we'll see you soon. The third one tonight. It says, you shall not take the name of the Lord in vain. I might get to two of them tonight. We're going to see. We don't want to take the name of the Lord in vain. So again, we want to go past the children's church version of the Ten Commandments. Amen. Past they just listed. We want to get the meat, all the meat off the bones. So verse 7 says, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. For the Hebrew, the name could not be separated from the reality. You couldn't take the name of God from God. You have to remember that's for the Hebrew, but that's for us too. Think about how much power is in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. When we call on him, my great aunt wrote a song, several songs when she first got saved. And it's a hymn, actually, this one is, and we did it as a hymn once before. It says, call on the name. There's power in that name. Call on the name of the Lord. And that is very true. We can't separate the power in the name of God. We can't in the name from God. So the children of Israel understood this by way of this commandment. That's why we don't take his name in vain. For that reason, the name could not be treated lightly. The name has to do with the very being, the essence of the one whom it identifies. To know the name is to know the identity and the nature of the one named. Again, put the welcome screen up. We don't need that scrolling. Therefore, we can't be guiltless if we deny the name by perverted use. Amen. I know y'all don't have scriptures tonight. You don't need picture in picture. It's just me tonight. Amen. And I just want to kind of go through what we've been on for the last few weeks. Just in case you're wondering, we're in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And so you can't be guiltless if you deny the power by perverted use. In other words, if you take it lightly. When I was coming up, certain things we just couldn't say. And, some of it was personal preferences. But, some things we just couldn't say. And you couldn't just say, oh, God. They wouldn't let us do that. Just saying, oh, Jesus. No, wait a minute. That ain't nothing you just say because your nerves bad. No. You don't just call. You don't take his name. And you don't play with God like that. I know we got away from that. We don't teach our children stuff like that no more. Children say some of everything now. But we were taught that. And it taught us in one respect to respect the name of God. We must keep this in mind when we think about this commandment. Because normally we associate it with profanity. Right? When they say don't take the name. Or with careless or irreverent use of God's name. Its implications are far deeper than that. To be sure, in vain means empty, groundless, without basis, frivolous, insincere. It means the unjustified use of God's name. Yeah, I like that. I'd like to break that down a little bit further as we talk. So profanity does violate this commandment. Using God's name when there is no genuine faith or commitment is a violation of this commandment. One thinks of the countless politicians who invoke the name of God to support selfish interpretation of their deeds. Happens a lot, y'all. As well as in the propositions they seek to make. Yeah. How profane that must be. And how profane would it be to be in a nuclear arms race in the name of God? Think about some of the things we put in the name of God. That's taking his name in vain. God is not tied up in our financial gain like that. He's not concerned. Yes, he wished above all that we would prosper and be good health, but he's not so tied up in filthy gain or filthy lucre, as we used to say, that you don't that he doesn't care about us just throwing away respect for who he is.
Oh, yeah.
That's taking the name of God in vain. This commandment against, using it in a profane or obscene way is true. But what is more profane or obscene? Is it four-letter words or starving children who could be fed if we were not so selfish? I ain't trying to be fun. I just want you to think. Pornographic magazines, or thousands dying in a political war which our government supports, or thousands dying from illnesses our doctors know how to treat. Is that not taking God's name in vain? Because we always tie politics to all of these things. This commandment is also broken when we use the name of God to fortify a lie. In other words, when they say, I swear for God, that's why we couldn't swear either. What you mean you swear? You don't swear. You may promise something, maybe. And you be careful what you promise. You don't swear nothing. We was taught certain things. And here's the thing, I do understand better now. To say that you swear something is not necessarily the sin. The problem is, though, if you just don't swear, period, you ain't got to worry about being in trouble whether or not you swear to God and all that stuff. Because you just ain't swearing. And I know that there's a little extra, but I'm grateful for those safeguards that the saints put in place to help keep me from falling and to help keep me holy. I'm grateful for those. And I think that if we put some of those safeguards back, we won't be in such danger that we're in now. And so many people lie in the name of God. Swear from God, you lying. You know you lying. They used to tell us, we would say we could clap for crackers and cheese. That's the best we could do. We can clap for crackers and cheese. That's the best we could do. You couldn't swear. Yeah, right. But that's about as high as you can go with your commitment. It's crackers and cheese. You don't swear for God because you might be lying. You might not know the whole truth. You may be mixing God into something you got nothing to do with. You don't bring God's name into frivolous things. Because see, in vain means frivolous as well. Doesn't always mean that you're lying or swearing. It just means it's not important. It's beneath who God is. Don't get me wrong. He's concerned about what concerns us. But there's a certain amount of respect that's due him. We don't just treat God like he's our friend and brother. Oh yeah, that's my homie. No, he ain't your homie. He's not your road dog. He's not your partner. He's not your ace. He's not whatever generation you in that you like to use that term. He ain't that. He's God. And so he's due certain respect. Right. We want to oh my God, no, you don't just say that, because when you do, you're implying that God is involved in some mess that you're dealing with. And that's not God. This is a commandment warning against taking God lightly. Okay? That's a good one. We break this commandment when we say we believe in God and that we accept the ideals of his kingdom, but we don't take him seriously. Let me say it again. Oh, that's a good one. I told you I'm going to be like that comedian every time I find something that I think is good, we're going to go with it. I'm going to say that again. We break this commandment when we say we believe in God and that we accept the ideals of his kingdom, but we don't take him seriously.
Oh, my God.
We break that commandment then. Because what does it mean? It says frivolous, right? When you frivolous. This is a form of atheism, saints. We're atheists in practice, though we may be Christians in profession. So many folks are atheists in practice. They just Christian by profession. Because just because you name the name of Christ, if you don't actually take him seriously in your daily walk, in your relationship with him, then you actually are taking his name in vain, because you're taking it what? Lightly, frivolously. My God, think about that. We're atheists when we live much of our lives as though God didn't matter. You save and don't think about God till it's time to come to church. If you think that's a crazy notion and that there's no meaning for you in that, then listen, you feel like you can't be a Christian in profession but an atheist in practice. That's just not you, right? There's a very serious experiment that I found when I was looking through this. Sometime during the rest of this week, y'all do this. Set aside maybe 30 minutes. Okay? Y'all write these instructions down, get them together. Set aside maybe 30 minutes and honestly answer these 3 questions. And y'all can go back and look at the videos on YouTube and Facebook to get the questions if you need to. But I'm going to read them real slow. What do I think about most when I'm not thinking about my work? When I'm not thinking about my work, what do I think about most? Because we realize work consumes a minimum, for most of us, 40 hours a week, right? And so then you start adding, that takes a lot of time, right? So when you're not thinking about work, which you got to work, because the scripture says if you don't work, you don't eat, right? So we got to work. We get that. When you don't think about work, what are you thinking about most? That's question number 1. Question number 2, how do I spend my leisure time? The time not required for my job or my keeping the household good or going. What do I do in my leisure time? The time that's not required for my job or my keeping the household going. Right, what you do then? That's right. All right, the third question. Y'all ready for the third one? How do I spend my money? Get beyond your normal complaints about big grocery bills and high utility bills and huge house payments and doctor bills. Look at the other things. Look at those things. They're there because some of your house bill and some of that stuff is because you got your priorities in the wrong place. Anyway, but look at those things. I understand that. But then look further at how you spend the rest of your money. What do you do with your money? Because what the first rule of police investigations? Follow the money. You want to figure out what's going on? Follow the money. Follow the money. That's police investigation. That's most any type of investigation. Follow the money. So, what do you think about most when you're not thinking about your job or work or things? Business. What do you think about? And I ain't talking about business you're trying to start. I'm talking about the business that's paying your bills right now. After that, what do you think about? How do you spend your leisure time? The time that's not required for your job and for keeping your house going. And then how do you spend your money? Beyond your normal day-to-day bills, how do you spend your leisure money, your extra money? That's going to let you know whether or not you're a professing Christian and a practicing atheist. How you answer those questions are going to let you know whether you are a professing Christian and a practicing atheist, or if you are a real saint of God. Oh yeah, because that's going to tell you where your passion is. That's going to tell you where you. See, you may profess Christ, you may be saved, you may speak in tongues when the presence of the Lord come in, but that's going to tell you where your heart, where there's some room in your heart for development. Answer those questions. Be honest. You ain't got to tell nobody. Ain't nobody ask you the answers. Just be honest with yourself. Be real with yourself. As Mother Porter said, don't you fool yourself. One more time. What do I think about most when I'm not thinking about my job or my work? How do I spend my leisure time? The time that's not required for your job and for your household, you clean up the house. And how do I spend my money beyond my normal bills? How do I spend my money? Do I get more upset paying my tithes than I do my mortgage? Oh, no. I ain't telling you to choose which one to pay. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking about your heart and your motives when it's time to do it. Think about that. And when you start answering those questions, it's going to let you know the areas that got the most control over your heart. And it'll let you know if you are a professing Christian but a practicing atheist. And if you're a practicing atheist but a professing Christian, guess what? You're breaking this commandment. You're taking the Lord's name in vain because you're taking him lightly. You're not understanding this. And then think about it. When this was written, this was before the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. This was before somebody gave their life to be beaten and humiliated and tortured and ridiculed and just for no reason. He didn't have nothing to do with the mess you were in. But he gave his life for you. Amen.
Amen.
If you didn't get that, just go back on YouTube, Facebook, and you'll see it. My hunch is that our answers, I'm talking about me too, will provide some shocking revelations. Amen. We may discover that we think far more about what we don't have, that we wish we had, or about how we can get more of what we think will make us happy, than we do in expressing gratitude to God for his gifts and his grace. Probably most of us will discover we spend much more time watching TV than reading the Bible, or in prayer and praise and worship. And most of us will be shocked at the things we spend more money on than we spend on the mission of the church and the needs of others. Many will discover that we spend far more time and money on recreation and relaxation than on serving God's children who need us desperately. Yep. That was that. I'm just going to highlight this whole paragraph. Yep, let's just do it like this. Just go right on, cross right on. Because I really think that's what we're going to find. I think, and I'm not beating you up. I said us. I'm talking about me too. When I started writing this, I hadn't done it yet. I'm going to do it with y'all. Let's just spend some time between now and Sunday and see how that makes you want to worship him Sunday. See how that makes you want to say, Lord, I love you. I love you, but help me love you more. Help me show you better. Because I know I do love you. I don't want to be guilty of breaking this commandment, because see, what's happening is you may be doing it subconsciously. You know you ain't doing, the big sins or whatever. And here you are finding out that your heart is torn in so many different ways that have nothing to do by just answering those three questions. Nothing to do with God. So let's do that this week. Let's do that. You that are at home and watching this, do that for yourself. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to share your answers with anybody, not even your spouse or children. Just you and God. Because this is what this whole relationship with God is all about. You said, not my mother, not my father, but it's me, O Lord. Yes, Lord. Standing in the need of prayer. Yes, Lord. Not my sister, not my brother, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Go on, say not the preacher, not the deacon, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. We need God. Amen. And we have to realize how much we need him by doing some self-evaluation from time to time. Let's go on to the fourth one. I figure we may be able to get two in tonight. May get three. The fourth one says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Let's have some fun with this one. This commandment begins with the positive word. It's one of the two commandments not stated negatively. Remember is what it begins with. In the Hebrew language, the form of this verb is very powerful. And I don't give y'all these try to sound deep. Y'all notice I don't do this in Bible study. I just want to try to help us understand the word. Okay? In the Hebrew language, the form of this verb, to remember, is very powerful. Far from the normal imperative way that we're used to, okay? This commandment has, as stated in Deuteronomy, begins with the word observe or keep. So remember in Hebrew means more like to observe or keep, not just our simple reminder in what we're used to in English, okay? The word Sabbath is from the Hebrew word meaning cease or to rest. It does not come, as sometimes taught, from the word seven. Does not come from the word seven. Because that's the way some folks been taught. Somebody ran with it. Because he said, remember, the seventh day, and what happened was, on the seventh day he rested. And they take that and say, he said, remember the Sabbath. He didn't say the seventh day, he said the Sabbath day. Doesn't come from the number seven. It means to cease or to rest. So people take, what happens is, people take different parts of the word and mix together like we do with everything else. Mix together to make us feel good, to make us feel important, to get our new revelation. God showed me something. Oh, God may show me something about me, but when I feel like I got some revelation ain't nobody figured out in the Bible, I don't trust it. Ain't nothing new under the sun. I ain't the first sanctified preacher in the world. That's right. It ain't no. All I got to do is live saved and live holy. Ain't nothing deeper than that coming out of the word, okay? Amen. And so when we start, but what happens is some people get these things, they mix them together. To answer your question, that's exactly what happened. You mix Genesis with Exodus. And now you're thinking it means seven, because it doesn't. It just means to cease or to rest. The Sabbath was, in fact, the seventh day of the week in the Hebrew calendar. Okay? So you start mixing those two pieces of information. Two facts justify the observance of a Sabbath day. First, God's rest from his creation, activity on the seventh day. And second, the observation of the Sabbath as a commemoration of the exodus from Egypt. The Sabbath was initiated in Israel as a day of rest that included even the servants and slaves. Almost immediately, it became a struggle to maintain the Sabbath as a holy day. And certainly that struggle was continued through Christian history. The Jews developed 39 classifications of work, which were to be avoided on the Sabbath. By the time of Jesus, the original intent of the Sabbath had been completely distorted. And the Sabbath had become a burden rather than a blessing. Think about it. Jesus was ridiculed for healing on the Sabbath, right? Sabbath had become, just another rule. You're missing the point. Sabbath was meant to bring us balance. It is easy to recall the incident when Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath with his disciples. They were hungry, and the disciples began to pluck grain and eat it. When the Pharisees saw it, they were amazed and condemned Jesus. Look, your disciples are doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath. When Jesus had taught them about the true meaning of the Sabbath, he concluded saying, for the Son of Man is Lord even on the Sabbath. The whole point of the Sabbath was to give us rest. Right? So when we come up with all these other rules, it was just meant for rest. That's all the Sabbath was. And he wants us to be holy. The principle behind this commandment is twofold. First, there must be a rhythm to life, a rhythm of work and rest, certainly a rhythm of worship in the midst of our ongoing life. The second principle is that all time belongs to God. One day out of 7 set aside as a special day serves to remind us of the sacredness of all our days. They used to teach it to us this way. Ain't we getting caught up on just being holy on the Sabbath? We're going to be holy all the time.
All the time.
If we just live holy every day. You sing a song, say, it's so nice to be with Jesus. It's so nice. It's so nice to be with Jesus. It's so nice. All day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all day Sunday. It's nice to be with Jesus. It's so nice. That was Cheering Church. We used to sing a little song like that. But it taught us it was every day we're supposed to be holy. Spiritually, every day should be Sunday. Just as every life should be a saintly life. The purpose of our religion is to make our lives more completely Christian. We know, however, that we're not essentially saintly. But we are predominantly sinful. Right? By nature. We all fall far short of the high ideals of Christian discipleship. And the less time we spend with God, the further we fall. In a real sense, all of us are weaker brethren. And so we have to understand that we need God, not just on the Sabbath, but every day. We all need a Sabbath day. And for the saints, that is Sunday, which we celebrate Easter and all the new creation, all that stuff. But we need more than that. We need a Sabbath rhythm in our lives, a rhythm that includes relaxation and reflection, in order that our souls and bodies may be renewed. Got to rest some. And I'm talking to me, because I can burn the candle on both ends. I'm learning. The older I get, my body is making me learn. You just ain't going to be moving today. You may thought you was, but what we going to do today, we going to stay right here. Because if you do move, you're going to hear more popping and cracking than in a bowl of Rice Krispies. And so you just sit down and let God give you the rest you need. But we have to have that balance in order that our souls and bodies may be renewed. Certainly, Sunday as a Sabbath day for the saints is essential because of our gathering as the people of God to celebrate God's mighty acts in history and to recommit ourselves to him within the body of Christ, the blessed community. Somebody said, well, why don't we worship on Saturday? Because again, the Sabbath is based on the Hebrew calendar. Not our Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday calendar. So we worship whatever they, look, you want to go to church on Saturday, go. I ain't going to tell you ain't saved. You want to worship on Friday, do it. You got to be saved every day. So what does it matter? Right? But we have to choose, we do have to put a rhythm in place of rest, of restoration, and of reflection so that we can learn. You know, one of the best things you can do when you're a project manager is to, at the end of a project, sit down with your team and say, all right, what did we do well? We did this, it was wonderful. Yep, we had great set, blah, 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 that was wonderful. What areas of opportunities did we find? What did we not do so well? What can we do better the next time we have to do this? If you just do what you did well, you ain't accomplished nothing. If you can't be honest with yourself and reflect on what you need to work on, then you'll never develop into a better leader, a better project manager, a better saint. So consider your walk with Christ as one major project. And every time you get to a place where you can stop and reflect, God, did I fail you here? Did I pray enough? Did I fast? And I promise you, if you take time to do that periodically, you'll find yourself growing in God. You'll find yourself spending more time with him, developing a stronger relationship with him than you would if you just never took time to say, how am I doing in my walk with Christ? Good. We got time for one more. Yeah, just one more because this is a long one. All right, let's go to number 5. You got a cheering in here. Honor your father and your mother. The 5th commandment is the centerpiece of the 10 commandments. As already indicated, the first 4 deal with our relationship with God. The other 6 deal with our relationships to others. It is important to note that we begin the set of the 6 that deal with our relationship with others is first, it deals with the relationship within the family. That puts the family where it belongs, in the center. Unless people learn to live together in the family, they aren't likely to learn to get along with anybody anywhere. You find folks with a whole bunch of family, household problems, and that's what we're talking about, household. You talking about household problems, you find problems everywhere. Husband and wife can't get along. They ain't going to have no friends that like each other and get along. No. Because everybody won't hang with them. No, I won't be around Betty because all Betty going to do is talk about Jimmy. And now Jimmy going to do talk about Betty. And ain't nobody got time for that. But they ain't going to go nowhere. They just going to be there and just keep talking about each other. Been talking about each other 50 years. I can't be, no, don't. If you invite Jimmy and Betty, I ain't coming. Right? That's what it turns into, right? I believe one of the primary reasons Judaism has survived across the years is precisely its family structure. The Jews survived the Holocaust and thousands of years of anti-Semitism because the Jewish family had a sense of identity and a sense of order. It doesn't matter where the family is on the Sabbath. When the Sabbath comes, they stop and pray. It didn't matter what Hitler and all the powers of the Nazis said. When Passover came, it was time to tell the story. Even if the family was gathered in a concentration camp and there were no candles to light, there was a sense of order and identity that gave them roots and strength and perspective and discipline. How many of us could keep on going and doing what we know to do in the midst of the Holocaust? At the heart of that family structure was reverence for parents and a high regard and a respect and esteem for the older members of the family. The elderly were honored and cared for. All right? And we're going to talk about that some more too. They were honored and cared for. They also honored and cared for those younger than them. To respect means to listen. I'm a little concerned about the extreme to which we've gone with the cult of child during the cult of the child or the raising of the children during the past, couple of decades. To be sure, we needed to give more attention to children. The adage children are to be seen and not heard was not a good idea. It's not the best way to have children in your life. We get that. So we need to get away from that. But as is so often the case, the pendulum swung too far the other way. We weird our children to be self-centered now. We ordered our worlds around not only their needs, but their every whim. Our thinking about discipline has been distorted. We spared the rod and spoiled the child. There was no center of authority around which the children could order this life. No clear guidelines or directions. No well-defined values. And so respect was diminished. Especially at the point of children listening and being obedient. Children ain't got to listen no more. Y'all, stuff bothers me. I'm confused. I just asked for a little of that. I said, now, help me understand that. When our children was such and such age, I want to make sure I wasn't crazy. I said, when I said do something, they did that, right? She said, yeah, they did. I said, I just want to make sure because I don't see that no more. And it's okay because they still little. People talked about me, y'all. I never once talked baby talk to my children. Not one day in their life will they have any recollection or memory of me talking to the baby like this. I'm telling you, I didn't do it. You'll be marking something didn't happen because I did not talk baby talk to those children. I was, boy, you crazy talking to them children. Like, they don't understand you. Yes, they did. And if they didn't, they quick now. What does this mean? I'll say things like concession. We were having a discussion about the Bible, and we would talk about different things. And they said, well, what does contrite mean? What is this? And I'm going to tell you exactly what. I'm not going to change the word for you. I'm going to define the word for you. My wife did the same thing. I ain't saying they're the most brilliant children in the world. But they understand when you're talking to them. And they know the daddy will slap them in the face if I say something to you and you don't do what I said. Makes my nerves bad. I feel disrespected. You cost too much. I tell them all, you cost entirely too much for me to be saying this too many times. I don't believe in that. I'm allergic. Didn't I just say that? I know. Well, hold on. Is you all right? Now, I know you need glass. You need hearing aid too. What it is that's happening with your mind that makes you think that I should repeat myself to you. Something ain't right. We got a problem. And y'all have been saying that since they was one. I didn't wait. See, because you know what I heard? You've been in the South while it's young. Now, I can leave them at home. If I say don't do something, I trust them not to do. And if they do, then all I got to do is beat them. Because I know I told you. I know you understand when I say something, I mean it. So you made a deliberate choice. You deliberately disobeyed me. And what's worse, you put everybody in the house in danger. I don't have to question that. Because from a wee little child, before you was walking, I was saying, don't do this. And if you did it, you got punished, so you knew that I meant don't do this. Before you could tell me what I said, you knew what I meant. First lady told me at the time our oldest was trying. I don't know if she was pregnant with CJ. You know, sometimes cheering, you know, when you have another one coming to act up. And so she said, pick those. He took clothes all out the basket and just put them all on the floor. She said, pick those up and put them back in the basket. And he's always been one of the stubborn ones. We got two, really. We got one that's always doing something. We got two that's just, they stubborn. And so he didn't want to do it. And he was 2 years old. Because they turned 3 a couple months before CJ was born. So he was 2 years old, and he thinking, I'm just not going to do it. He was mad. He wasn't going to do it. He's always been the one to test her. He won't test me. CJ will test me, but the oldest won't test her. She said, put him in, he wouldn't do it. She said, put that in the bag. Now, you know, she said, then she said she made sure to teach him. I'm going somewhere. She taught him, here, this is what I mean, put it in the basket. Put this in the basket. We make sure you know. Finally, when he stopped doing, he just wouldn't do it because he didn't want to. Oh, okay then. Every time I'm gonna beat you till you do. She tapped his legs and arms until he started putting everything in that basket. Eventually the basket was full. But he won't try. He's 2 years old. I ain't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I ain't never had a child that won't do what I want to do. It doesn't matter what you want. That's where I was raised. You don't get what you want till you can afford to pay for it. I'm going somewhere. So I do believe that, now, I do believe we should listen and learn. And, because even in all of that, I'm saying all of this. But First Lady can attest to the fact that, now, not in front of them, but I will get her alone. I said, now, do you think I was too rough? I know that I just beat all three of them, and she always laughed at me. Got all the sound effects. I said, I just got all three. I know that. I just whooped all three of them. But now, was I wrong? Did we not discuss this? Did I not tell them? I know I said this. I said, do this. And I even called him in and I pointed it out to him. I said, this is what I want you to not do. I want you to clean this. I want you to fix this. This is what I expect to be done when I get back. So I said it. Did I do something wrong? I would always question. Did I say it? Yeah, you told him. All right, long as she know and I know, both of us can't be crazy. So I feel like the whooping was justified. I don't feel sorry for you crying, pouting, acting like the world is in it. And, no, I know it was justified. But there was a time. I just got the truck, y'all. I ain't got my rubber mats in there yet. We stopped, and I got everybody milkshakes. They don't eat in my car. But one of them is and he took, and I told him he got this from me and his mama. Both of us growing up we were very clumsy. One of us still is. And we were very clumsy. And so I passed them the shakes, and I've always taught them, when you get this stuff, because see, I don't believe in having my car. Mister, I don't like it. Don't do that. You make my nerves bad. I don't believe in that. Don't eat in my car. You don't even look at your food. I'm like my granddad used to be with my dad. He used to, don't even open the bag. Don't even look at it. If it's in there, I'll check it. You just leave it alone, because you might reach in and get a fry. Don't look. So I gave it to him. I said, listen, you always get the bottom of these cup holders. You don't trust just the top of the handle. That ain't going to, you get the bottom, and it's 15 of us. They're going to give us 6 cup holders. You got to grab these things right. Exaggerate. Y'all, he didn't grab the bottom. And the milkshake spilled on my brand new car. I was so mad. I didn't holler. I didn't fuss at him, but I was mad. And I didn't mind being mad because I told you what to do. This wasn't your first time. It wasn't your first rodeo. You just didn't take my instructions seriously. So I told him, I'm going to go clean it up because I don't trust. You want me to do it? No, I want you to do it because you ain't going to do it right. Cleaning is not your forte. Let me handle this. But what I want you to do is don't ask me what to do now. I told you what to do before this.
That's right.
I got him straight. But I didn't holler. I didn't even fuss long. And so afterwards, but I was very stern because I was mad. It was new. I was mad. But I thank God for the Holy Ghost. Even in that, I didn't fuss, I didn't whoop him. But God still got me, and I didn't understand for a second what was going on. I'm going to tell you what God did to me. I could feel how hurt and broken he was. Because that time he didn't deliver it. I had to change everything else. And I said, son, I got to correct you. Because you clumsy like me and your mama. It happens. We was clumsy. So you can't feel like I don't love you because I correct you, but you got to know how to always think about this. So I had to change the tone. Turn into a whole, reasons I love you. I love you more than you'll ever know, but I have to correct you. Just because I love you don't mean I can't correct you.
That's right.
So I still had to correct him, but the Holy Ghost had to convict me even in my correction. That's what I'm going with that. So even though, yes, we got to listen to them, we got to love them, we got to parent them, we still got to make sure we got to let God give us which way to go, because sometimes you'll feel like they need it and they don't. And then sometimes, then that's why I always, checks and balance. Now, did I go off? Was I crazy? And that time, she wasn't there for me to ask, so I thank God for the Holy Ghost checking me, saying, no, he didn't know. He just didn't know. And because he wants to please you, and really, remind me, how much you think that boy want to make you happy? There ain't no way in the world he'd have done it. So no matter how new your car is, shut your mouth. You have to correct him for not doing what he's supposed to do, but you can do that in a little more loving way. You can fix that.
What you think about the grandparents?
What do you mean?
Y'all said my children said I have gotten
Well, no, yeah, that just is what it is. Children and grandchildren, two different things. I realize that grandchildren don't even mean the same thing no more. They don't mean the same thing. Don't even raise your hand. They don't mean the same thing at all. 'Cause let me tell you something. The stuff that we couldn't do in the house, the boys now, they can do everything. I think they set up rooms for them to jump on furniture. We wasn't allowed to walk in the room with the furniture. They can jump on it. And don't tell me they just smile. Them children my height now. No, it just is what it is. You get soft with grandchildren. They say it's going to happen to me too. We'll see.
It is.
My plan is not to have them around that much. I mean, other than to spoil them, give them some sugar and send them back home. Tons of sugar. Bye. Because I done raised mine. I'm on the travel.
That's what we all say.
I know. But see,
They say, what happened to you? Mama,
I hear you. I hear you what you're saying. I hear you what you're saying. I mean, you know, I can't say what's going to happen because I ain't God. I will say this, though. I know that the parents I've seen ain't the same parents they was. I ain't seen it. Nope. You don't raise your hand. You don't have a comment to make, Sister Lewis, because I'm telling you right now, that ain't the mama that I was raised with. The Gigi they got ain't the mama I had. That's just true. But you know why that is, though, what I've heard grandparents say? And in relation to this message, you learn more, so you do better. Because this is your second time around. Now you've gone through some of the changes. Me, myself, personally, I just feel like you ain't got the nerves for it no more. That's what I feel like. Because, I mean, shit, you got some good cheer. You don't need to. I know I got some good cheer, and you had good cheer too. You still beat us. We was good too. We don't bad cheering. You beat us still too. That's why we was good cheering. I got good cheering because I don't spare the rod. So I'm being comical, but seriously, we do want to make sure that we don't put children back in the day where they don't have. I tell you all the time, I can't stand that because I said so, teaching. Don't do that. The reason I admonish you not to do that is because if they really want to learn from you. Like I know my son, my oldest especially, Lord Jesus, that's all he wants is dad to be proud. Don't mean he ain't stuff, don't mean he don't do stuff, but he want dad to be proud. So if I teach him just because I said so, that's never going to be enough for him because he wants to know why so he can do it the same way. Whether he should be, and I'm telling God now I'm at a place, I'm like, okay, God, help me to help him develop his own personality because as much as he loved dad, want to be he ain't dad. He's got to be who he is in God, and who he is in life. So, I want to encourage his own personality, but, we got to make sure we draw that line and trying to encourage him to know himself. No, I'll knock you out. Don't know yourself too much when you smell yourself.
That's right.
Amen. So that's a fine line we got to walk. So the word here is children respect your parents by listening to them. There's also a word for parents. Provide the setting in your home where children will be taught to listen and to be obedient. They're taught that by the way you enforce the rules. Not so much whooping them all the time. I'm being comical about that. But you have to teach the children that obedience and listening is not only expected, it's beneficial for them. Respect means the second thing. It means to be attentive. Attentiveness takes place all along the road of life. But there is a particular concern that, pulls at a lot of heartstrings, and that's the older parents. And I told Sister Lewis, I said, I thank God for her, Lewis. I pray good health and strength on both of you for many, 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 many years. Because I don't want to have to take care of Sister Lewis. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But I'll tell you this, though. I know me and Camille was talking about this, and she don't want me to. Me and Camille was talking about this other day. I said, now, if we ever had to, yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do what we have to do. Why? Because we know she sacrificed to take care of us. I can't say she wasn't there for me when I couldn't be there for myself. So it's my responsibility to be there for her. Your children learn to take care of you by the way you take care of them. If you spoil them and don't give them any responsibility, don't require anything from them, don't expect them to take care of you. Because that ain't what you taught them. But if you teach them that even though you may get some of the things you want, it's because of your obedience, it's because of you following the rules that life is working this way, then they're more inclined to help you when you need it. And some of y'all say, well, how do you know all this? I don't know everything. I'm not professing to. But it's just good sense. When I look at where I am now, I'm 35 years old. I remember when I wanted to rebel and I didn't respect it, didn't like what she wanted. In my teens, I ain't like nothing about what rules she had. No, I ain't like it. Now I'm old. I got my own children. Right? And now I realize I was crazy. And because she never wavered in her stance for holiness in the home and her requirements in the home, she never changed. It wasn't no, well, I'm going to let them find God for themselves. If you're going to find him for yourself, you're going to find him outside my house. Because in my house, you ain't got to find him. He right here. Here he is. The life you've seen before you. You don't have to worry about where he is. If you choose not to pay attention to that, that's on you. So she laid the foundation in such a way that now I wouldn't dare let her be lacking if I could help. I got better sense. But it came from the restrictions, from the requirements, and from the enforcements that I experienced growing up. That make me say, okay, I see the point, and I want to help. Not just her, but those that I can help. Comes from that upbringing. So that's why we have to be careful what we put there. There's a side for parents in this commandment. How do children learn to listen and be attentive? They learn in a setting of mutual respect, where every person is counted important, where every person is given the floor to speak. Now, I ain't going to say we had all that all the time. I will say I took it, whether we had it or not, though. I was one of the ones that I talked so much. Like, that's why she looking like, how you going to say you didn't have that? Because you wouldn't shut up. I didn't. But, it cost me some hits in the mouth. It cost me a couple of blows to the chest. It did. It did. And so I find myself trying to remember because my children are me. And so I try. And y'all, and then I married somebody who wasn't much better. She wasn't much better. She won't tell her testimony like I tell it for her. She wasn't much better. And especially, not so much with her parents, but other adults. Who is you? I'm tall as you is. She that was her. And so my children got it on. They want to explain. They don't set out to be disrespectful, but they want to explain themselves. They want. But Dad, you don't understand. This is what I was thinking. But Dad. And shut up, boy. But I can't say that because they got it from me. What you say? It don't matter where they got it from. You get tired of it. I know, but I'm trying to say, okay, let me work through it. Let them speak. Because here's the thing. I do know when I'm tired of hearing it. And they will shut up when I'm tired of it. But at least give them a chance to learn boundaries. So that they can learn how to express themselves within boundaries. Because if you keep them from talking, that's why we got a generation of folk that can't handle business, can't do nothing, because they never got a chance to talk, never got a chance. They don't know how to express. They say, I don't even not know. That's because you ain't even not get a chance to talk. So you have to make sure that they're heard with love and appreciation, where every individual is given an extravagant measure of attention because every person is counted precious. This is really the pattern of the Christian home that Paul defines in the 5th and 6th chapters of Ephesians. We have distorted those instructions despite the fact that they are all hinged together. Instructions to the husbands, to the wives, to the children, and to the parents. He begins it all by saying, be subject to one another out of reverence for Christ. In that kind of mutual commitment, Paul gives specific instructions. Wives, hold on, this is good. I said some things I should have been wrote down, didn't I? Oh well. In that kind of mutual commitment, Paul gives instructions that wives, be subject to your husbands as the Lord. But then he said, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So the men that say, oh yeah, you got to listen to me. You got to die for her.
That's right.
You understand?
Amen.
So if you're going to die for her, that means that you definitely can't run over her and not hear what she got to say. You ever see what I'm talking about? Hey, it may be, especially if you don't learn how to work this right. It will be a short life. That's why men die first sometimes. Because we don't listen. So you have to learn. Yeah, you may be the head, but you better learn how to listen. You better learn how to love her like Christ loved church in such a way that you care enough about her opinion and her feelings and her emotion and her needs that you do what it takes up to death. See that? I ain't heard that. I ain't heard of that loud. All serving Lord. Where Brother James? Brother James? Where Brother Jimmy? Children are to obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. Y'all used to love that. That was my favorite scripture. Because all I kept hearing was honor your mama. Honor your parents. Obey, obey, obey. Don't make me mad all the time.
That's right.
I still stand by that. That's why I question myself sometimes. Wait a minute. Because I told myself, I know I make y'all mad. As long as y'all respect me, you have a right. You can be angry. I know. I bet they do. I know she be talking about me to them. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's all. If you ain't, you will. And that I expect it, because when they get old enough, eventually they're gonna start. Because I know a couple of them gonna start talking quickly. They're gonna do it. That's what they do. You know, it is what it is, and that's fine. I don't discourage that. There's a way to be angry and sin not. You ain't got to be. I don't care if you do get provoked to anger. As a child, you don't get to sin, right? So yeah, the father shouldn't provoke his child to anger. In other words, be loving, be considerate. But there are sometimes you just gonna be angry and he didn't provoke you. You just mad because you wrong. Right. See, that's the part that I got foggy on. I'm just mad. Well, why am I mad? Am I mad because my attitude and spirit is incorrect? Am I mad because the devil in me is in more control than the Spirit of God in me? Am I mad because my flesh wants to do certain things and her requirements in the household say no? Right? What am I mad about? Am I really provoked, or am I mad just because I can't do what I want to do? Because I don't want to follow rules. Know the difference. Being provoked to anger is when a parent just says, do it because I say so. I ain't got no reason. I just want you to. I can understand my children getting mad at me because I have this thing. Y'all, First Lady called us and being nice to me for my birthday. And she got with St. Louis and the children was gone all them days. And it was gone. And I said, oh, I said, praise the Lord. That was a present for her. I'll tell you why. Because she got to hear mama all the time. I ain't have nobody to go out there to the garage at my refrigerator to get my sweet tea. I ain't have nobody to bring my Diet Dr. Pepper. I ain't have nobody to feed the dog. I ain't have nobody to dog in and out. I ain't have nobody to do all this. I had to get up and do all that stuff. Now I realize, but what I realized though, now that's going to provoke, now right now they compete to do it. If I said somebody, I got it to be running. I'm like, I'm waiting on the day when they get like me. Well, my mom used to do that to us. She'd be sitting there, the remote could be literally about right there. It ain't far. Come here. And then here's the thing. Didn't even respect us enough to get our name right. Come here, Chris, come here. Come here, Chris. One of y'all, come here. And we get in there. Chris, come here, Chris. We get in there. Pass me the remote. You mean right here? Yeah, pass it. Bring me some tea. Put about this much ice in it. See, listen, I want you to hear me. Come here, bring me the cup, let me show you. So I got to go get the cup, bring the cup, put about this much ice. Then put the tea in it. Now listen, don't get me, if you give me too much ice, I'm going to be mad at you. And then, right, bring me this much tea. And if she had tea and cool, she would mix the tea, put this tea and this Kool-Aid in there, and then pop me some popcorn. Listen, stop it when you start slowing down. Don't pop my popcorn too long. And then when we learn to make it on the stove, I don't want it in the bag. You put that in the stove. You got to get the skillet out, make me some popcorn. Put me about this much butter, put me about this much, and then about this much, and she ain't move, put me about this much. And I hated it. And I do all of it right now. To all three of my children. I feel like it's better though because it's three of them, not just two. So they get to rotate. I try to rotate names. If I call Caleb, it's Cody's turn. If I call Cody, it's CJ's turn. And I rotate names. No, you didn't. You called both at the same time. Chris, come here, Chris. That's the way that worked. We didn't know who was supposed to be there. Yeah, you just decide. Rock, paper, scissors, who turn? Either that or who gonna act like we didn't hear him. Amen. And then don't let us, if she call us again. I know y'all had me get in there. And then we come in, when we got old enough, we come in with that. Mama, you don't even want nothing. You just want it. It don't matter what I want. Come give me this remote. Room ain't, I mean, you could, it's 3 steps max. Yeah, but then I had to get up and I'm comfortable. That's what she said, I'm comfortable. I got my blanket just right, I'm comfortable. That's the way she done us. Right. And you know what? And that is what it is. So I can see that being provoking to anger eventually. Eventually. They ain't ready yet. It takes time. They gotta earn that first. I mean, at this point, you just earning your room and board. I mean, that's labor. You know what I did? You put your headphones on, I'm gonna text you. And there's a rule: if you don't respond, your phone don't work no more. If I ever text, call you, and I'm talking about quick. It gotta be. I don't care if it's in the daytime. I don't care if you testing. You homeschool. If I text you, call you, and in 3 minutes I don't have a response,
Oh my God.
I'm gonna call one of the other ones and tell them to take your phone for me till I get home. You give me that. Put that in your mama room. You don't need no phone. The devil is a fool if I'm gonna pay a bill, and you ain't gonna respond to me. And that goes into the day I stop paying your bill.
Yes, that's right.
If I'm foolish enough to do it past 18. Because y'all young men, get you a job. You can flip a burger and fry some fries and pay a phone bill. Oh, y'all don't like me. I know that's tough. But y'all young men, you're going to pay your bills. I don't care if I let you stay there. You're going to pay something so that you learn how to pay something. I tell them now, I'm like, y'all 12 years old. You got to know how to treat your wife. You got to know how to do this. I told First Lady they're going to all have you a gift this year for Mother's Day and your birthday. She said, well, they ain't got, I said, they gonna all have you something. I don't care what it is starting this year. They're going to all have you a gift for Mother's Day and for your birthday. By the time they turn 16, not even 16. As soon as you act like, I already know you be liking little girls and things. I get that. We had that discussion. But once you start trying to even think about acting on it, before you do, what you buy your mama? What you buy your mama? Until you get married. Now, once you get married, I don't believe in that because the wife come first. But until you get married, I want to make sure. Because, see, I didn't understand it. Mama used to say this to me. I hated it. I thought it was the craziest thing in the world. I didn't even really listen to it. Now I'm having to learn on the back end. How you treat, she would always, how you treat your mom and sister is how you going to treat your wife.
That's right.
I thought that was the craziest thing in the world. I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm trusting all adults is watching this. I had a couple of reasons in my mind where there would be a total different treatment.
That's right.
I did. I just I don't see how that correlates at all. But okay, you keep saying it. But now I do understand because when you get older, it's not about the sexual part of it. It's about the nurturing part of it. And I ain't no nurturer at all. So I'm not. I realize it is one of my weakest points. So I get why she wanted to do that now, but I didn't get it then. So I'm trying to, from a father's perspective, hopefully they won't rebel against it as much as I did, teach them how to do that now so that maybe their wife will have a little bit of easier time. Although, like I told First Lady, you got to work with me, though. You can't make 5 meals for dinner. I said 5. 1 for her, 1 for me, and 1 for each one of them, because don't nobody eat the same thing. No, you make dinner. We eat what you make. I don't mean sometimes I hate I say that. Because I don't like asparagus. I ain't big on tacos and stuff, and everybody else can love it. And they'll be eating. I be looking forward to the days I got to be at the church and I can buy myself something to eat because I ain't got to eat them asparagus and things. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I like something like she make chicken waffles, something I love it. But there's some things that I need that I don't want. And so she'll make them, and I can't say I don't want this because I just said we got to teach the children because ain't no woman going to want to cook, a special meal for them every time it's time to eat,
That's right.
Y'all got quiet on me, but so I'm trying to help.
That's right.
So provoking your child to wrath is not just when your child is mad, but it's because your intentions are there. Y'all, it's 8:33. We got to stop. That's the pattern of the Christian home, and that's the foundation for Christian relationships within the family. Persons reverencing and respecting each other out of their love and commitment to Christ. Out of homes like that come children who will honor their fathers and their mothers. God bless everybody. God bless everybody. I know it's 8:30. We got to get out of here. And I know that this was an interesting session. But it's the Ten Commandments. I'm in the book. Yeah. I'm in the book. It's the truth. And, you know, and I'm not, please don't think I'm trying to tell everybody, raise your children like my children. Everybody raise your children the best way for your household. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I am saying as long as you don't stray from the word and understand that, you know, I really want children and young people to hear and think about it, you know, when you're in your teens and early 20s and stuff, what you think you thought you knew, you really don't. And as you mature, and Lord knows if you get your own family, that's all it takes was your own. And then they grow up and they start saying stuff. And, you know, me and religion look at each other like, what was that? Did he just, what, huh? And then we, you know, it's all about, well, was you crazy like that? No, that wasn't me, that's you. And so we try to figure out who it is that made him this crazy. It's one of us. We don't know which one, maybe both, but somebody was crazy because that came from one of us. What is this that he doing right here? Why, what? This is after we probably didn't want to beat him. We back in the room now trying to figure out what is happening with our life. What's going on? You know, children will do that to you, y'all. I'm telling you, they'll do that to you. Let them get up. Wait till you get about, you know, 8, 10, 12, and up.
As long as you got one, it's okay.
As long as you got one? I don't believe that because I've heard stories of me being by myself and being a troublemaker. You sent me off when Camille wasn't born yet. See? So I don't believe that. I was bad. I was terrible. But please, you know, and see, and Camille was a much sweeter child than me. So no, I don't think it's the one or two thing. But I was bad. So I mean, I've even seen pictures of me being bad. Y'all don't take pictures of children being bad and call it cute. Don't do that.
Let me tell you. I need to tell y'all we all
We ain't off there yet. We finna get off the air now. Thank y'all so much. Y'all tune in Sunday. They finna embarrass me, so we gonna get off so I don't get embarrassed on social media. God bless you. See you Sunday.